Raising humpback grouper. The humpback grouper is one of the most common varieties of grouper. It is found in the waters around southern Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and even as far as Australia. Because it is an important part of fine Chinese cuisine in the urban areas of Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, and Malaysia, it fetches some of the highest prices of any edible marine fish. In addition, its attractive appearance has made it a very popular tropical fish. The humpback grouper inhabits waters where there are many coral reefs. While often found in tide pools, it usually prefers depths of 10 to 40 meters. It is only found in the western Pacific region, usually in the waters of Japan, Taiwan, the South China Sea, the Philippines, Indonesia, Australia, and Guam. It is sometimes caught off Penghu and southern Taiwan, but the catch is very limited. Raising breeder fish. Nowadays, it takes 2 to 4 years to raise breeder humpback grouper in Malaysia. Any replacement breeder fish are usually purchased from professional raisers. Breeder fish are commonly fed fresh trash fish. The amount given daily is approximately 5 to 10% of the total body weight of all the breeders. To accelerate the maturation of the humpback grouper's gonads, vitamin E may be added to their feed. And to improve the fish's vitality and health, vitamin C and vitamin B complex may also be added. Humpback groupers must be fed every day until they weigh 1 kilogram, after which point they may be fed once every 2 days. Selection of breeder fish. After the fish have grown to approximately 1 kilogram, their bodies will appear round when the spawning period arrives. All it takes is a light touch to distinguish female fish. Any fish that weighs less than 2.5 kilograms are not likely to be male fish. Fish weighing less than 2.5 kilograms that can produce sperm are very rare. And since such small fish can produce only a tiny amount of sperm, lightly pressing the fish's belly will cause it to release sperm if it is male. Hormone injections. A pipette can be inserted into the round, soft area of a female fish's abdomen to extract ova or also to inject hormones to stimulate ovulation. A dose of 500 IUs per kilogram is usually injected to stimulate ovulation, and a dose of 100 to 200 IUs per kilogram is often sufficient to produce ovulation in some fry. Removal of ova and sperm. While some fry are able to ovulate within 12 hours after injection with HCG, others may take more than 48 hours. Because of this, it is hard to be sure when a given fish will ovulate. If transparent ova come out when female fish's abdomen is pressed lightly, that fish is ready to ovulate. The ova will become overmature if the fish misses the best moment for ovulation. When this occurs, the probability of fertilization will be extremely low, regardless of how strong and healthy the male fish is. Hatching tank. Although the color of the hatching tank has absolutely no effect on the hatching rate, a black tank makes it easier to inspect the condition of the eggs. The mucus that covers humpback grouper eggs has a tendency to foul the water in the hatching tank. For this reason, roughly 10 hours after artificial fertilization, it is necessary to use a clean net to remove eggs floating on the surface of the water, change the water, and replace the eggs. Although a hatching tank can accommodate as many as 100,000 to 200,000 eggs at one time, water quality will deteriorate if the fertilization rate is poor. Hatching tank water temperature and salinity. If humpback grouper fry are given high-quality feed, Ova can be extracted when the fish are only 1 year old. To achieve such fast maturation, the water in the pond must be kept at approximately 28 degrees Celsius year-round, however. In addition, filtered seawater at a temperature of 26 to 28 degrees Celsius will not adversely affect hatching. Even a water temperature of 25 degrees Celsius will not significantly reduce the hatching rate. Humpback grouper eggs begin hatching approximately 24 hours after fertilization when the water temperature is around 27 degrees Celsius. Because the humpback grouper is exceptionally sensitive to low salinity, salinity must be no lower than 29 to 30 parts per thousand during the hatching period. The hatching rate will drop significantly when salinity is below this range. Aeration equipment. When the eggs show signs of hatching, but there are no broken shells or it seems that the fry are having difficulty hatching, air can be blown into the hatching tank to facilitate hatching. By stirring up the eggs and stimulating their shells, a bit of air can effectively promote hatching. Fry culture. Newly hatched fry are long and slender. Lacking the ability to swim, the fry rise and sink as they drift on the ripples. Fry first open their mouths after 24 hours and completely absorb the yolk within 72 hours. The fry can be fed a suitable amount of shrimp flakes with multiple vitamins after this time. Fry will begin feeding 3 days after hatching when the water temperature is between 28 and 29 degrees Celsius. Most humpback groupered fry tend to congregate in the middle or upper part of the pond and like to search for food around the edge of the pond. Food organisms given to the fry must be changed as they mature. The following 3 stages can be distinguished. Stage 1. The fry are termed galliao or fish blooms during the first 2 or 3 days after they have opened their mouths and begin feeding. They may be fed fertilized oyster eggs, small rotifers, and shrimp flakes at this time. Small quantities of diatomaceous water may be added to the tank to purify the water, absorb ammonia, and nourish the fertilized oyster eggs and small rotifers. In addition, approximately 10 parts per million photosynthetic bacteria can also be added to stabilize water quality and help decompose organic matter and dead fry at the bottom. Stage 2. After about 20 days in the gallio stage, the fry start growing spines where their dorsal and ventral fins will be. They have the shape of kites and are commonly known as fledglings. The fry should be mainly fed on rotifers during this stage. Their dorsal and pectoral fins begin growing long spines after roughly 5 to 7 days, and these 2 fins continue to grow longer until the fry resemble flying fish. This is the most notable characteristic of grouper fry. Water quality is quite important during this stage, and all efforts should be made to maintain stable water quality. Water color should ideally be light green. Water circulation or the use of water wheel aerators is not necessary. If the water is too clear, small quantities of seawater and diatomaceous water may be added from a water storage pond. The fry may be fed small amounts of copepods, small brine shrimp, and artificial feed towards the end of this stage. The long spines in the ventral fins recede after the 15th day, and those on the dorsal fin do so after the 20th day. The fry will grow to 5 to 6 centimeters after 20 days in the fledgling and red head stages. The long spines in the dorsal and pectoral fins have gradually shortened and disappeared by this time, implying that the young fish are ready to assume the bottom-dwelling lifestyle of adults. The fry can be fed mainly copepods and brine shrimp during this stage and grow to a length of 8 centimeters after 25 days. To avoid cannibalization, the fry must be carefully separated around this time. The fry are ordinarily caught and sorted once every 2 weeks. If growth is low due to low water temperature, the fry may be sorted once every 20 to 30 days. Sort the fry on a galvanized screen into large, medium, and small groups. The large fry can be placed in a maturation tank or sold, while the medium and small fry must be raised further. Water temperature and salinity for immature fish. Immature fish should be ideally raised in water with a temperature of between 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. There is little need to worry about the water temperature when the fish are kept in a tank greater than 10 tons in size. But if the tank is relatively small, rain and cool air temperature can cause the water temperature to drop below 25 degrees Celsius. Cool water will cause the immature fish to become less active. Culture and feeding of immature fish. Depending on the water temperature, fry usually begins feeding on rotifers approximately 3 days after hatching. The fish should be fed 10 rotifers per million during this early period. Rotifers can be raised on bread yeast with cod liver oil and egg yolk later added to strengthen the rotifer's nutritional content. Approximately 8 days after hatching and before the start of recirculation filtration, the fry may be fed homemade blended feed sprinkled on the surface of the water in the morning, at noon, and in the evening. Only if the fry are trained to have regular feeding habits during this stage will they continue to feed vigorously after becoming immature fish. In the Saba area, blended fish usually contains fish meal, squid meal, powdered shrimp, chicken liver powder, and commercially available multiple vitamins and minerals, egg yolk, powdered milk, and cod liver oil. Culture of adult fish. A. Fish farming approach. The fish farmers may purchase 2-inch fry, either those caught at sea or raised by breeder. After the fry have been raised in a concrete pond or nylon net to a length of between 10 to 15 centimeters, they should be moved to a cage or pond to grow up to commercial size. When kept at a density of 50 to 100 fish per million, the fish will need 60 days to grow to a length of between 10 to 15 centimeters. The fish may also be kept in nylon nets with a volume of 1 million meters, in which case they may have the density of between 100 and 200 fish per million. Immature fish with the weight of between 20 to 50 grams may be kept in cages with a density of 100 fish per million. The immature fish may grow rapidly when fed a diet of fresh trash fish. Immature fish, 9 to 10 centimeters in length, requires 5 to 6 months to grow to commercial size. B. Feed. Nowadays, humpback grouper are usually fed fresh trash fish or moist balls containing a mixture of fresh trash fish and artificial feed. The fish food should contain approximately 73% protein, 6% fat, 3% fiber, and less than 16% ash. The fish should be fed approximately 5 to 10% of their body weight daily. Transport and packing of live fish. A. Transport of live fish. Since humpback grouper are always sold live and they must be transported in a live fish tank, trucks and carts equipped with live fish tanks and aerators may be used to transport fry over long distances. If transport time by truck, airplane, or boat exceeds 5 to 12 hours, plastic bags, cardboard boxes, polystyrene foam padding, and ice bags will be needed. The following are the usual transport procedures. Number 1, disinfect or sun all equipment to avoid infection. 2, the fry must fast for 24 hours prior to shipment. This will allow them to vomit up or excrete any feces or partially digested matter, helping keep water quality good during the transport. And 3, sort the fry by size. To reduce death and injury, place fry in the same size in each tank or box. Since live fish are usually transported in extremely crowded conditions, the problem of insufficient oxygen invariably arises. In addition, the fish tend to increase their activity level and oxygen consumption when frightened during the loading and transport process. Fish may easily asphyxiate during transport if appropriate steps are not taken. Therefore, particular care must be taken when live fish are transported during the springtime. Since the body temperature of the fish varies with the changing weather at this time, they may collide with objects and injure themselves as they swim through the water. Live fish should not be transported long distances during hot summer weather. One way of keeping the fish cool is to place ice on the net covering the truck so that it gradually drips into the fish tanks as it melts. The ice must not be placed directly in the water, however, lest the sharp drop in temperature put even greater stress on the fish. And finally, trucks carrying live fish must be covered by nets. The nets will prevent losses from fish jumping out of the water. B. Packing. Live fish must be packed at a packing plant before being exported. The following is an overview of packing procedures. Load the fish in plastic bags, 1/3 full of clean seawater. Pack the bags in cardboard boxes after oxygenating the water and sealing the bags. Use polystyrofoam foam as padding on all sides of the bags and place dry ice and dry as ice in the four corners of each box. Seal the boxes and take them to the airport or ship them. Pay very close attention to the following points. Number 1, do not use toxic agents to catch the fish. Fry that have been poisoned have a very low survival rate. Number 2, the fish must be given a medicated bath after catching and before shipment. Number 3, to lessen alarm and cannibalization, the fish should not be packed in too little space. Number 4, live fish must be kept in good quality water when shipped. Number 5, the fish must be fed adequately up to 24 hours of packing. To reduce cannibalization, the fish should not be fed after that time. Number 6, use strings to tie off the corners of the plastic bags. And number 7, make sure to discharge any gas in the bags when aerating the water. Estimate travel time to ensure that the fish will have sufficient oxygen. The humpback grouper market. Grouper are highly esteemed in Taiwan. Grouper frequently appear on restaurants' banquet menus, and consumption of grouper at restaurants and hotels rises sharply from October to April, which is a time of many holidays and weddings. The people of Hong Kong love to eat grouper and are even picky about the variety. Hong Kong's gourmets prefer wild grouper, particularly humpback grouper, and consider humpback grouper weighing approximately 1 kilogram to be the best of all. Among the reasons for the grouper's popularity are its delicious taste when steamed, the resilience and the sweetness of its flesh, and its skin, which is rich in vitamins, protein, calcium, and collagen. The humpback grouper market mainly composes Hong Kong, Taiwan, and China. Fish with the weight of between 500 and 1,500 grams typically sell for a price approximately 1,500 to 1,018 NT per kilogram. Individual fish usually sell for between 5 and 6,000 NT dollars in restaurants. Responding to Taiwan's WTO membership and the need to conserve land and water resources, the government has lent its full support to the pure seawater culture of grouper. Grouper are high-value marine fish, and humpback grouper are worth even more than ordinary grouper. They therefore possess exceptional developmental potential. Although Taiwan is a world leader in grouper breeding and fry culture technology, further efforts must be made to improve fry raising technology, production, and marketing infrastructure. As far as the commercial development of the humpback grouper is concerned, the biggest obstacles are the fish's slow growth, its sensitivity to low salinity, and its poor resistance to disease. If fry culture technology can be improved, raising fish farming effectiveness, the humpback grouper will assume a prominent place in the high-value fish market.